now. And
Yeah, definitely have Sophia then, because I'm like, I'm like, what?
I can also just turn the waiting room off prior to that. So
Yeah, so they can just like come in.
let me go ahead and just turn it off.
Danny goes going strong in the back, y'all. Well, baby. Thank you.
How many people? There's only a few people waiting to be in the call.
Yeah, but this is important, okay?
Yeah, that's how it will go. You'll go like, and then 10, and then there's 7. There's 7 right now. So if you guys want to drop it in the say popping on, it will probably be kind of nice. I like it small.
Harper, I told you this is important, baby. We are live.
Okay, I'm going to turn that off, and then I'm going to make Sophia the host. So just know that, okay?
So I don't have to let people in.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Why'd you put this phone on?
Mom.
Okay, now I'm gonna come over here and hello and good afternoon, everybody.
What? We have to find the plane.
All right. Okay.
I am going to.
Go outside. Harper, Sandy, get down, baby.
Can we go inside?
No, because you're not listening, baby. I love
Really
you.
fast. And there we go. Okay, so I just put Sophia. I'm super excited because we have Sophia and Chels hosting this week, and they both are absolutely incredible humans with incredible stories. And I'm also so excited to listen in because they are by far my favorite people to ever exist on planet Earth. And I know you guys are just going to get so much knowledge from two warrior women who have been through a lot, came out on the other side, and what kind of God has done through their life. And I'm excited to also hear what they have stored for today. So thank you, ladies, and I love you so very much. I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to let you guys rock and roll, my angels.
Yay! Okay, I'm so excited. Chels, I know I'm hosting, but you're gonna take it away first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, guys. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Chelsea. So what I want to kind of like touch base on really is the things I've gone through with God and the things I've gone through without God and the way it changes it. It's literally life changing, and how we kind of all go through some deserts, and it's easier to get close to God when you're having hardships, you're having a hard time, but it's trying to remember that consistency, and it is hard. It's hard for everyone, and that is normal, and that is okay. So I'm like, I got quite the story, so I'm like trying to think the best way to just like really minimize it. So long story as short as I can make it is I was married, went through, I had a stillborn that between my daughter and my son. It was horrific. I was not deep in my faith. It tore my life apart. Shortly after that, there was infidelity in my marriage, and I went through a very, very traumatic divorce. From there, I then was told like just come to church with me, just come to church with me. I'm like, okay. So I go to church with my friend, and you know how you feel like every time you go to church, like they're speaking to you, like, oh my gosh, today's message was for me. That's crazy. Like, how did they know I was gonna be here? How did you know? How did you know? And so I'm in there, and I'm a very, very broken woman at this point. And the pastor said, like, verbatim, sex outside of marriage must go, and just started talking about infidelity and all the things. I kid you not, I literally fell to the ground, like in tears, just fell to the ground. I had two people take me to the back of the room, and they both prayed over me. And I kid you not, I left that room a different human. Like, I can't even explain the feeling. Like, my heart was just lighter. Like, I was no longer carrying these burdens. He took them for me right then and there. And it gives me chills every time I tell it, because I can't even, like, you can't even make this stuff up. Like, it's crazy. I literally walked out of there, the multi-purpose room of this elementary school, a changed woman. I then went on a couple months later and I got baptized, and he prophesies over me and he's like, "You're an evangelist." And I'm like, okay, I need to Google that. I don't even know what that means. Right. I'm new in my faith. I'm learning and I'm loving it, but I'm new. So I don't know these things. And so I'm like, okay, like reaching out to people, talking about God. I'm like, okay, okay, I guess I can do that. Like, I didn't, see that as all right. I'll take it. And then a few months later, I was working at the hospital. I took my first paid leave and I went to a concert, Route 91, and I was there with my girlfriend. Taylor actually was babysitting my kids so I could go. And I then got shot in the face and I was told I wasn't supposed to live. And I had a baseball sized hole in my head, and you can see now I cover it a lot. I was supposed to have a craniotomy, lose my speech. I was supposed to be completely blind. And there was so many stories in that where I can't tell you how many times, like, doctor physically told me, like, we have no medical explanation why you're seeing right now. And my dad came into my ICU room, and he was frantic. He was crying, and he's like, "Chelsea, you calmed me down. You looked at me and you patted me and you said, 'Dad, it's okay. Jesus has got me.'" Which I was like, "That's crazy." He's like, you were so firm in your beliefs, and you were like, and now to this day, like, look back and, like, not once was I worried. Not once was I like, "Oh my gosh, I'm blind." Like, it never strayed me from my faith. It nothing. But then, when I had my stillborn and my daughter and I didn't have my faith, it completely ruined me. So I feel like with this, God took this and made this my platform. Like, this is why he said I'm an evangelist. Okay, now this is what he wants me to do now. He wants me to talk about how he can literally change any circumstance. And I guess at that time I wasn't aware of I was like, why would God do this? But God doesn't do bad things. He makes the best out of bad situations. And once I was well enough in my faith to understand this, it just um, changed my life. So we all go through things. We all go through deserts. We all have challenges, but, like, having our faith can dramatically change the outcome, and for the much, much better. And so I can't stress that enough, that he can literally change your life. And it gets me excited every time I talk about it. But that is, like, my really big story in a really small nutshell. And then I want Sophia to chat.
You're amazing.
And
I can't.
also, there was one thing I've got to say is we went to church after, all of this stuff is happening. Was it? It was after the accident. Yeah. And then we sat at a table at a coffee shop and we were all like telling our, like, praying out in bold faith, like what we're asking God for and what our
You're
life is
speaking
gonna
it
look
into
like in a year.
existence.
Yeah. And we were saying all these things that I don't even remember what I said, but I know for sure I'm like, he's taking me he's like, sorry, I know that sounds cute, Tay, but we're going a different direction. But
Yeah.
Chelsea was like, I'm gonna meet an incredible man. And oh gosh, why do you make me so emotional? I love you so much. I'm gonna meet an incredible man, and
Don't make me cry.
babies are gonna be taken care of, and he's gonna love my babies and all of the things. And gosh, I mean, it was maybe a
Spot
year
on.
later, an incredible man who her kids called dad and had another
Yeah.
baby. And it's really, really, really beautiful what he's done in her world. But I think it's through her obedience and her belief as well. She never complained. I mean, most of us, if we lose a portion of our face and no longer have an eye, and going into the dating scene, I will always just view her as a superhero because she walked in the room with the same Chelsea confidence and joy and love and didn't let it deter her at all. Most people would have. They would have let that deter them, and she just didn't. And he's just moved so powerfully in her life. So I'm so proud.
He just changes everything. He changes your perspective on everything. And that's like my biggest like excitement to talk about is how he can, if you're broken and you feel damaged and insecure and useless, like you are so not in the moment, like you let like that light shine through your life will be changed. And then it's like I'm like a living example of just, like you literally just you have to just trust him. You have to trust him. And that is the scariest, hardest part, is taking that leap of faith. It is literally a leap of faith. But he wants that from you. He wants your obedience. He wants your full attention. And he will change your life.
Yes, so true. So true. And your story is so incredible too, because that 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 same exact experience happened to me as well. Sorry. Come on. Come here, you need a hug?
Yeah.
Okay. That same exact experience happened to me with getting baptized. You described it so perfectly, saying that there was like a weight lifted off your shoulders. That's exactly what it feels like when you fully surrender your heart, I feel. And I've never actually heard someone else articulate it that way. So that was really cool.
Oh, how funny. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that same thing happened to me. So come on, let's go. All right. Well, I'm Sophia. Nice to meet you guys. Well, not meet you. I've met you before. I love that right when I start talking, my 2-year-old's like, no, you don't get to do this meeting. So my walk with Jesus has been a little unconventional. I kind of grew up, my grandmother was Jewish. She converted, and I did a lot of like those types of religious practices with her, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of like being a part of it as a kid. And then when I went into high school, I just went so far in like the kids your parents warned about. Like I was that kid, and I just didn't care, and I had no desire to be close to the Lord whatsoever. Like those
Sophia, you might need to stop walking wherever you're headed because you're breaking up.
Is that better? Is
Yep,
that better?
you need to stay still.
Is this better?
Yep, we can hear you. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Wait, I think you started breaking up at you were the kid that
Parents
warned you
warned
about.
you
Yeah.
about. Yes. And I rejected anything and everything that was religion because I kind of had watched it destroy my family with the Jewish religion because my aunt ended up being Orthodox Jew, and it's just crazy. So I just associated religion with God, and I wanted nothing to do with it. And then my life just kind of took a deep dive. I went through a lot of stuff, you guys. I was facing prison time as a 17-year-old kid. I just was in the mix, like with the wrong people. I almost lost every opportunity and person in my life. And it didn't really switch up until I was about 22. And I found a church in Texas and I got baptized by myself. And I kid you not, like the second they put me in that water and they said that prayer over me, I feel like every terrible thing that I was holding the guilt and shame from was like taken off my chest, just like Chelsea had said. It was like supernatural, like supernatural. Like I walked in there extremely heavy and then I came out just light. And that was my first experience with God myself without being told what to believe and what to think. And I just was convinced from then on that like I know God because I've seen him, like I felt him. So I held on to that, but I had no background of faith at all. So I didn't know what I was doing. And ever since then, I've just kind of tried to find my way through and find my relationship with God. And then recently, in this last year, my entire life got violently flipped upside down. Um, if I move, can you guys still hear me? Because I took you off Wi-Fi, but I'm like chasing a 2-year-old. But my whole entire family dynamic completely flipped upside down, and basically overnight, I became a single mom of 3. And I am forced, because of circumstances and people being removed, I'm forced to be here in this new reality for the next about 3 years of my life. And that was very much a shift. It was full family doing everything together every day to completely absent person. So it was a massive change. But I think that the one thing that I've held on to during this whole situation that's made it easier to hold on to my faith is that when this happened, like when I had gotten that phone call that changed my life, I knew in my soul that my only option was to fall back on God. My only option was to rely on Jesus. That was the only thing my that felt comfortable. I was so uncomfortable, like the rug had been ripped out from underneath my feet and everything felt so scary that my brain and my heart instantly was like trust falling into Jesus's arms. Like I was like, "Okay. I have nothing left. Like, can you please stop him before he falls off? Thank you." Um I had nothing left. Like I truly was stripped down to the bone and it was just me and Jesus. And then for that next 6 months, that's all I did. That's all I relied on was his grace, his love, his forgiveness for all of us, trying to mimic as much as I could from him in every situation. Because like I said, it was such an aggressive shift and there were so many things that happened that I had to do my best to mirror his heart. Otherwise, if I lit the way like my flesh and my brain wanted to act, I would have treated the whole entire situation differently. And during that whole process and getting me to here, I've continued to do that and have continued to pray for him to put me in rooms that put me closer to him and put me around people that are closer to him. Anything I can do to just constant prayer every time, like, please, Lord, work on my heart. Please work on my heart. Please help me to be a better person. Please help me be an example of your light and your love. Show yourself in my life so people can come close to you. And he did, because now I'm in like 3 Bible studies. I'm at church like 4 days a week. I'm working at a gym that I could only dream about working at. And I have the greatest people around me. And he's delivered time and time again. And it's been solely based on my personal experience, not from what someone told me to believe or told me to do. And one of the things that Chelsea and I wanted to touch on was just what she was saying. She's like, you can be in a desert and like still have your faith. Like that can be all you have and he will come through tenfold, like every time.
Yeah.
So I feel very grateful to be here with you guys. And I hope nobody is on this and they think like, I don't know if I should be here, or because me and Chelsea were talking about that, like, especially now doing something like this and doing children's ministry and all this stuff, like that imposter syndrome mentality really gets in where you're like, I don't belong here. Like, I don't feel like this is the place I should be.
I
But
don't know
that,
every scripture. I don't know
yeah,
every
yeah,
Bible verse.
yeah. Sometimes I still
Yeah.
cuss, all of us deal with,
Well, shit.
yeah, oh damn, like all of us deal with like some sort of temptation. And I just think it's so important. Like the last thing we did, Matthew 5-7, he literally speaks about how God sees the heart and it doesn't matter what you think. God sees what you feel in your heart. He pays attention to that. And that has been the one truth that I think has saved me the most, because I know deep down that God sees my intention and the love that I have overflowing for everyone around me, that I won't let my brain get in the way of that. And it's the same exact way for every single person walking the planet. Like even the people you hate, he still feels that same way towards them.
He
And
gives everybody grace.
everybody is deserving of grace. Everybody is deserving of forgiveness because he already paid the price for that. He already paid the price for your sins, and you're just not expected to be perfect. You're just expected to meet him. It's almost like meeting him halfway. Like he's already there, like waiting for you. And like, I don't mean to ramble, but me and Chelsea were saying we could go on and on about this,
Yeah.
but the visualization is such a huge thing for me with my faith. Like when I'm doing communion on Sundays, one of the things that connects me the most is I will visualize, like when I'm got my little communion cup and my bread, I will close my eyes and I will visualize me meeting Jesus somewhere. It's just me and him, and we are face to face. And I'm going through a lot right now. I deal with a lot of temptation, a lot of things circling in my life because I am on a good path. The enemy will always come for me, you know,
Harder.
harder. So and today when I was in church, I was laying on the floor and Jesus was laying on the floor looking like we were right there. And sometimes I don't even have words for like the pain and suffering that I deal with, but I know he hears me even when I don't say it out loud. So I know we're rambling. I know I'm talking, but Jesus has done so much for me. And this is why it's so easy for me to talk about his love, because I've experienced it tenfold. And I pray that so deeply for everyone in this group and everyone I come across.
And I do feel like all of these hardships that we go through, he teaches us, he makes something out of it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why I always like I'm like, I've lost a husband, a baby, and an eye, and I'm like, I'll to this day I'll say everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Like I saw this like meme on Instagram, and there was all these like multiple men like carrying a cross, and they're all tired, and then this one guy's like, oh, I got you guys, like I'm gonna cut my cross, and he cut it so it was shorter, so it was like easier for him to drag. And the next thing you know, they all come up to a ravine, and the cross needs to be long enough to go across the ravine so they can walk across. And the one guy's like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
like I can't make it across now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's a reason. There's he makes a reason for everything you go through.
Yes.
My heart, if my heart was in the place it was 10 years ago, I would never have met my husband and been in mentally in a place where I could be if I didn't go through what I went through and learn the things I needed to learn and become the person I am without what I've gone through. And I appreciate everything more. And when you're in the midst of it and you have no light at the end of the tunnel, you're like, okay, come on, like this is
Yeah.
ridiculous, but like
Yes.
he is preparing you. And usually your biggest storm is before your biggest blessing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And
you
that's the thing
said it.
too, is just remembering that when you're going through whatever. Cause I've noticed that we have a lot of, everybody has something. Like, it doesn't even matter, because even if you were to put it on a scale where someone's going through something worse than the other, to them it's just as big. So it's like everybody's dealing with something. And there's another picture online that shows like all these glasses that are about half full, and it says this is not consistency. And then on the bottom line it shows glasses, and sometimes it's all the way full, sometimes it's half full, sometimes it's a teeny bit full. Like, but that's consistency. Like, you're never going to show up and it's going to be the same every day. But Jesus's love for you is always the same. It's the only constant you have in your life. It's the only
Amen.
constant. So it's just such a gift. It's such a blessing. We are seen as so highly valued and favored and protected and blessed. And like I said, even like this whole situation happened in Vegas, and I felt like an out of body experience. As anybody knows that's gone through any type of like emotional trauma, it's like an out of body experience. And I'm like driving and I'm like, I can't even believe this is my life. But it was a supernatural peace in knowing, just like you, in a way higher scale here, when you told your dad, like, Jesus has got me. It's the same exact way I felt. Like, I'm like, my whole life is falling apart, like actually crashing and burning. But somehow, some way, I know
And you know
And
what's
this
and
is
he,
coming
powerful
through.
about Sophia too is that in that moment she had called me. I think while you were
Mhm.
driving out there,
No,
and
I
that
was on the
power.
floor in tears when I
That is
called
the
you.
power of having women around you that you
Yeah.
trust will give you God advice, that you can
Mhm.
trust won't escalate a scenario, that because we all have those people, we'll go to call them and it's like we end up calming them down in the conversation when chaos is striking, like it's gonna be okay, and they get us so worked up all over again that it's like it's the best thing that you can have is God, but then also those people around you that you can call, and it won't always maybe be what you want to hear, but it will be God advice, it will be good advice. Like, you do want those people in your corner, and those people that you can call that will have your back, but also tell you like it's all going to be okay. And sometimes you
Yeah.
yeah.
hear
No,
that,
I
but
really did. I really did knew.
it's
I was like, I'm calling you because I love you and because I know you love me, but also because I needed that person that was gonna just
she wanted to
be.
handle it well, which is beautiful. She was just like, I want to be a good person right now, but my flesh wants to be a horrible person. And I'm like, but I get it, you know? And so, yeah, it was beautiful that even in those moments, she wanted to operate with good character, going through something challenging, which I think is hard for a lot of us to do.
And that's 100% Jesus in your faith, because that's what it does. It kind
100.
of holds you internally accountable. Like, you really does stop you in your tracks, because yeah, like your faith wants to like pop off on someone, but then you're like, well, really, that's why I wear this bracelet. What would Jesus do? I know it seems cheesy to people, but I need it. I'm like, what would he do?
Constant reminder.
Yeah, exactly. Like, help me. So yeah, it's very, very amazing. I'm just in awe of you, Chelsea. I'm so grateful to
Oh,
be here. And
likewise. These girls, all of you guys, it's such an amazing opportunity to like be with such spiritually powerful women.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you have a concert to get
I
to.
do.
And I have to go to work, but I would love if I could, unless Taylor and Shelly, you guys want to say anything, or Shay and Brittany on here at all?
Shell, are you here? Do you got
I see
anything?
her somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see
I'm
Shay.
here.
Shay,
I
do you
just
have anything?
wasn't trying to overstep on the ladies' call.
Never, could never, would never.
No, it was so good. Oh, you guys wrecked me. Shay, do you have anything that you want to? Sophia,
Not really.
you're host, so you would have to pin.
Oh, how do I do that?
I think it went to her when she started talking.
Yeah. That's what it
I'll
did.
mute.
No, Chelsea, your story, it made me emotional. Um, I just, I can't even imagine like I've gone through stuff in my life, but when it comes to the ability to see and live and like all of these things that on a daily basis we can like take advantage of, just like our sight or just the ability to walk or function and all those things, and just having that type of faith is just it's insane. And I mean it just, yeah, it gave me chills. And I don't even know you, but I'm just like, I love you. It just,
I
that is
love you
just.
too. Thanks.
And yeah, I mean, just faith is hard. When I went to church last night, it was actually about faith. And this year I didn't want to take away from your guys's time, and I just wanted to share a little bit. Like this year my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he was in Florida, and we had to fly him down here to take care of him. And when we got him down here at City of Hope, like they basically were like he could have had a few days to a week to live. And so this year has just been, and I kind of became, he's not married or anything, and I was the one in charge of like everything, to where it like affected my health, and I got super skinny. And I didn't realize it though. It wasn't like I was purposely I just every day I was trying to fight for his life and figure out, no one close to me has ever had cancer. And I really was struggling at a point where I had to get on my knees and trust God. And my whole family, they're strong believers, and we all just were praying. And I definitely had so many times this year where it was just like, because cancer doesn't stop fighting, and even a few months ago, it got really bad again. And he was so weak. And it's just been, this year was just definitely a struggle. And I, fully came to that point where I'm like, I need to trust God no matter what. Like he is in control of this, and he has got my dad, and whatever the outcome is, like we're going to be okay. And it just, and you can't have one foot in and one foot out, like our pastor was saying last night. Like you need to fully
Yes.
surrender, and you need to trust him, and you need to trust not just when it's easy, when life is hard. And so I just, I am just great. And Sophia too, your story is so inspiring and amazing, but I just wanted to touch on that. And uh thank you guys for sharing. And it definitely moved me.
You're the best. I love you. I can't wait to hear your whole testimony next Sunday and listen to you chat more. I could listen to you forever.
And our testimonies are never, it's like they're never finished. They just keep evolving. Sophia's testimony, a year ago was entirely different than it is now. It just keeps expanding. You keep needing him for things. Chelsea's has continued to evolve over, and it's like we keep hitting these spots where, because it's never promised that everything from that point forward is going to be easy. We have him. And so it shifts the way that we're able to handle things and get through things. And it's beautiful. And, like they said with the desert, I mean, that's it's almost the best seasons of our life because those are the seasons that he reveals himself. We don't typically tend to go to him when
Mhm.
everything's great, and he will turn our whole world upside down to get our attention. And so if we're not picking, everything's great, so then all of a sudden you realize you haven't even checked in with him in a few weeks, because all is well. And then a lot of
Mhm.
times we fall into this place where we only go to him when we need something. And so he's like, okay, it's time to need something, and
Right.
you're gonna want to come to me for this one. And then eventually you go through it so many times where you just need him every day. Because
Mhm.
and Satan doesn't come after you, when you're living in sin and everything's all good. That's
Yeah.
when he messes with you. He doesn't even need to bother with your life because
He's
you're
got you.
holding hands
Yep.
with him. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
you're
And
in
that's
sin.
where
You're not changing anyone's life around you. You're not changing your own life. He doesn't need to bother with you. He comes the most when you're trying to get out of sin. And so when you're trying to get out of it, when all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait, 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 she woke up. She's starting to walk towards her purpose. No, 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 no. And then that's when he throws those blocks to kind
Yeah.
of get in your way. And so some of you guys through this journey, we're not promising it's going to start getting easier. In fact, it might get a little bit harder. But
Oh,
you'll notice that even though life is harder, you feel better. And
yeah.
the strangest things, I feel like he keeps me in a constant state of problems because he knows that that's how I lean on him the most. And so I'm
yeah.
in a permanent state of problem. I always have a problem. I always have something that I need to put out, fix, handle, go to war for somebody for. Step. I'm like, I feel like I'm just behind the scenes. All I do is just constantly fight for people I love and care about. And he has to keep me in this kind of constant state because idle me is not my best version of me. It's not, it's, I don't handle freedom well, I've realized. And so he needs to kind of keep me constantly needing to be
Well,
something.
that's
Yeah.
how I felt like I went through so much bad stuff and I relied on him so much and things have been so good. I found myself like my relationship's not where it should be right now with him. And I'm like, I want to feel that again. I want to feel it off my chest. Like I want to feel him in my heart. Like I'm praying every day. I'm doing all my thing, but like I know that I slacked off and I'm aware of it now. And I also like I want to make it so known that like that's normal and that's okay. That you have to check yourself and you just got to make it right with him again. But it's very normal to
That's
do.
why groups
Yeah.
like this are so great because you're like you have to hold I have to hold myself accountable to a whole different degree now
Yes.
than even I did a few weeks ago, right? So
Yes.
True.
it's so good to stay connected like that and not start backing away and removing because that's what happens. It's like all of a sudden, it's been a few weeks and then we stop going to church and then now we haven't been going to church for a little while and so we're like, well, we can't just pop back in and then we start just feeling convicted and we're not answering,
Snowball.
pastors text messages. It's like no, it's just slowly slow and it can happen, but that's why groups like this are so beneficial. But also, yeah, we're human beings, you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We
we
are.
go
And
like
well,
this. I mean, not even the most educated in their faith people that I know don't have seasons where they're like, I am falling asleep at the wheel. Like it's been a while,
yes.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
It really honestly is. That's a beautiful part about him. He's just always right there. Like what
For
a
everyone.
incredible human. Like
For everyone. Yep,
such a
exactly.
good God, such a good father. He loves you so
Amen.
much. And Shell, do you have anything you want to add, my sweet angel?
The only thing that I was thinking about when you were saying that is like I saw this thing and it showed like basically two pictures simultaneously, and one was like full of people and the other one was completely empty with just one person. It was like, I believe in God, I obey God, and I think that that's like a big thing that we all struggle with. It's like combating your flesh to have that obedience, and sometimes like that's where we get pulled back, and it's that tug of war of like, well, I believe in him, and it's like, well, but do you obey him? Because those are two different worlds, and that's when you're gonna have two different relationships. And really honing in on like, it's good to believe in him, but things that we're trying to do or do more of or whatever is having more of that obedience with our flesh for him, and I think that the relationship gets deeper in those seasons versus just saying, oh, I believe in him, but I'm gonna go on with doing whatever I want.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us, I mean, I've even seen it in the chat a few times. It's like, yeah, I've always been able to say I believe in him. I've always been able to say I'm a Christian. I never really took it to the degree of like an actual relationship with him where I'm like talking to him casually and I'm going to him first before I go to my husband, before I go to my mom, before I go to like I just go straight to him. It's a lot of us it was it's lukewarm Christianity, it's lukewarm church, it's lukewarm all of the things. And so yeah, I believe in him. But then it's like as soon as something kind of stressful happens, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get that? Believing in him means all the time and going straight to him, and it just shows, it comes out, it comes across. It's you're chilling even in the craziest of times, and you're leaning on him and you're diving and you're going to him first. That relieves a lot of pressure from even the people around you. um because I think a lot of us sometimes we go to people and we put a lot of pressure on them to be something that they simply cannot be. We're all human beings. They can't replace God in your life. They just can't. And when you have him so strongly in your corner where you're constantly leaning on him, you really release a lot of people around you from this unhealthy expectation we can kind of put on them, and you can operate in a lot more joy.
Yes,
So,
that's so true. And two, also, like, I just feel like I know sometimes we get so down on ourselves because it is so hard because we are constantly doing things. I mean, because no sin is worse than the other. The person that curses is just as bad as the one committing adultery. So it's like even when we cuss, like we feel like bad about it. But I hope that everyone remembers like that heart thing is so important because we are living in very trying times that make it really hard to adhere to those things to be obedient to, but that doesn't mean that we stop trying just because it's hard. We don't just give up just because
he looks
it's
at the heart and he sees your desire to want to
yes.
fix it, to want to be better. It's not going to happen overnight. It's just
No.
not. It might not ever happen ever. Actually, we can't be perfect even if we wanted to, but he views us as perfect. To the world, we can never be to a perfect standard because that stopped and ended with Jesus. He was the last perfect person to ever walk this earth, and he got hung up on a cross. So if the world can't even accept a perfect man, the world's not going to be kind to us either as imperfect humans. It's impossible. And so it just keep that in mind when it comes to people, it's always going to be challenging because we're dealing with people and a world that is missing him a little bit, but we can be that shift and that change. And the more of us that turn on our light and become an actual example to Jesus's heart, which is loving people, loving ourselves, being kind, not being doormats, being honest, being truthful, just being good humans as often. And I truly believe most of you are probably good humans 99% of the time. He looks at the heart. And that's what he sees. So, all of the other things that humans tell us are wrong with us, they don't get to tell us nothing. Okay. That's not what God says about us. He says we're perfect.
Amen.
We're literally
Amen.
perfect. How sweet is that? He doesn't see
Mhm.
anything wrong with us. He just sees an angel. So, we love you. Have an amazing Sunday. Enjoy it, whatever it is it looks like for you today. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Yes. Love you guys.
Bye, Steph. Bye.
Bye.
I want to taste it.